Únase a nosotros para vivir una experiencia lingüística única, tanto si eres un principiante que necesita incrementar sus conocimientos, o un estudiante avanzado que busca perfeccionar sus habilidades lingüísticas, nuestro programa tiene algo para todos.
Con lecciones dinámicas, ejercicios interactivos y comentarios en tiempo real, el programa Inglés sin Barreras en Radio Nacional de Guinea Ecuatorial, Radio MALABO, te ayudará a dominar el idioma.
No te pierdas esta increíble oportunidad de mejorar tu nivel de inglés y ampliar tus horizontes. Síguenos 2 veces a la semana, los martes y jueves a la misma hora, de 11 horas de la mañana a las 12 horas del mediodía, y embárcate en un viaje hacia la excelencia lingüística.
This is Equatorial Guinea's National Radio, Radio Malabo, and English Without Barriers start now.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
You must believe.
You must believe.
You must believe in you.
Yes, believe in you.
Señores, buenos días y gracias por escuchar la Radio Nacional de Guinea Ecuatorial. Como lo anunciamos el pasado martes y la pasada semana, que vamos a tener entrevista. Y yo, Mateo, siempre estoy aquí. Cuando toca entrevistar a la gente, yo personalmente no puedo. Lo vengo comentando y compartiendo todos los días. Por lo consiguiente, como se sabe, los jueves está aquí mi gemelo Believe in You para ofrecer la entrevista, porque él sí, por lo menos entiende algo de inglés. Fellows, good morning and thank you very much for listening to Equatorial Guinea State Radio. Under our control, Milibea Mikemesa, in collaboration with all our technicians over there at the Basile Mountain. As we said weeks ago, that today is a great day because we're going to talk widely about the activities of the U.S. Embassy. And today, the room is full. There are lots of people. Looks like it's the first time this year, 2025. So that we're going to discuss about the opportunities. Yes, the opportunities that the U.S. Embassies, and of course, we're going to share experiences with some students who normally went through specific courses, studies, and they're going to tell you how they've moved on. So in order to start out today, as we often say, we're going to start with ladies. Young woman, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Please, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Maria Rosario, and I am a student of U.S. Embassy program.
Okay, that's great. Please, next.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year to all of our listeners. My name is HERMILA YIFTER, and I'm the Public Affairs Officer at U.S. Embassy Malabo.
Great to have you here. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Next.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Jose Gabriel. I am a student from the U.S. Embassy project from the ECC Kids.
Okay, that's great. Welcome, Gabriel.
Thank you.
You're doing great. Next, you're being the last. Okay, I'm sorry. Next.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm ADELA MOMO. I'm the Public Engagement Coordinator in charge of the program.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
It's been 10 years, right, since the last time you came here. So, young man, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Maria Gonzalez, and I'm a student with the ECC English program.
Okay. Before starting, I would love the official from the U.S. Embassy to tell us a bit about this initiative called Unlocking Opportunities. And then those who already went through this will explain in detail the experiences and, of course, tell us how everything started. HERMILA, please.
Yes, of course. So, Unlocking Opportunities Through English is run through our partner organization, who's also a U.S. Embassy grantee, the English Coaching Center. The director is Vanessa Nokonoko. And this idea actually came from my predecessor, the public affairs officer. Her name is Megan Luckett. And my colleague who's here, Adela. So they created this program in 2021 to be able to reach youth, adults, young professionals, and young kids, and teach them English, because we realized that a lot of the barriers that people were experiencing from being able to take advantage of the exchange programs that we have, or take advantage of opportunities to study in the United States, or even employment opportunities in the country, in the continent, or globally, was language.
Yes, of course.
I mean, and so there's bright, brilliant people all around the country here, and they have all the other merits and skills, but it was just language that was preventing them from taking advantage of these opportunities. So what better way to unlock those opportunities through English? And since that time, almost 4 years ago now, we have graduated over 500 students through the Unlocking Opportunities and English Coaching Center.
Okay, that's great. Listening to you talking, we just imagine. People in the country are struggling with the English language. They hardly benefit from the opportunities that offers the U.S. Embassy. They hardly get to jobs. If you say decent job is exactly what people often say, but I don't really go there. But unfortunately, there are many people who hardly benefit from this opportunity due to the English language. They hardly speak English language, and one of the requirements is the good working knowledge from the English language. Sometimes it's somehow tricky. And since you've started since the program started, maybe Adela will tell us more about that. Adela, since the program started, HERMILA say over 500 students, right? The
Yes.
figure is quite important. So tell us a bit more. Can you go deeper on that, Adela?
Yes. When we started with the kids, the young adults, like Mila mentioned. And of course, like every other program, you have people who drop out along the way, maybe for other things. But we have graduated that number, because not just in Malabo, it's a combined figure for both Malabo and Bata, because we also run the program in Bata.
That
So
was great. Yes, when you say Bata, I'm quite relaxed, because those from Bata often say, okay, everything occurs or happen
in Malabo.
Only in Malabo. Only in Malabo. So when you say, okay, in Bata as well, so I'm quite relaxed. I just understand that, okay, that's great. So those over there as well are gaining, let's say, good issues or good things with this specific lesson. So is there, or are there plans to expand
to other places?
Now we're talking about Malabo and Bata.
Yes, with time, their plans, because we've seen the importance of learning English. So with time, we plan to do that. But that's the future. So
yes, of course.
Let's enjoy what we have now.
That's great.
But with
That's
time,
great.
we plan to expand.
Okay, that's great. Cool. Gabriel.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm doing good.
So I'm so happy that you've decided to come in order to show to the country that even the English language for some people is an hindrance. You have been struggling or working harder in order to move forward. Please tell us how you started everything with the English language.
So I started. I was with my sister at home, that she's in the program too. My father told us at 3 p.m. that we search a pen and a notebook. We didn't know where we were going. That we were just
surprised. It was a surprise. Yes, that's great.
Then he took us to he driven us to the cultural center of Equatorial Guinea, and then I graduated Model 2 in 2023, and in 2024 I graduated 3 and 4.
Okay, that's great. Your father surprised you by just taking you without telling you, okay, you're going to do this and that. Also, how did you feel when you started? Were you excited? Were you happy, or it was somehow tricky for you?
I was like an unknown man. I didn't know anyone except for my sister. And then I started meeting other classmates, and then I am here.
Okay, that's great. Welcome, and thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us, okay?
Thank you.
Rosario, tell us about your encounter with the English language.
Okay, I have a friend that in 2022 she was in the program. Then one day she called me. I went to her home and she told me that she's in the USA program of English. Then I told her to tell me how is the program is, and when she and I told her that if they finish to call me to go to the program, because me too
You're interested?
Yes, I was interested.
And this is how everything starts?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. But it looks like you face many challenges.
Oh.
Okay, that's great. Let's say, Gonzalez.
Yes.
Tell us about your encounter with the English language.
Okay, my encounter with English language is a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Because
so let us enjoy.
The Big Bang Theory was on the TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I would like to understand what are they speaking about.
Yeah.
And then I decided that I have to learn English. One day I was at home on Instagram and I saw ECC account. They published something about an English course, and I decided that I needed to get into to keep learning English.
Okay, that's great. You encounter with the English language, so many people are inspired as well from TV. Was it Equatorial Guinea State Television, or it was CNN or BBC? Which was the channel?
It was Equatorial Guinea Television, only that it was in English.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel like I need to learn English.
Yeah, okay, that's great. It makes you feel that, okay, you need to learn English, and then you discover that, okay, if those people from Equatorial Guinea can speak English, you as well, you can do that. You can do so. And this is how you started. You move forward, right?
Right.
Okay, that's great. We're going to keep on talking more about this issue, but we're trying to understand a bit some of the main part of the course. When you started the course, the English course from the U.S. Embassy, we know that when you say, okay, I watch TV and then I inspired myself in, okay, I'm going to learn the English language. So when you started, how did you handle all those situations? I mean, lessons, your program and everything. How did you do that?
Well, when I went to the program, I met Sylvia first.
Yeah.
And then I met Pablo, who was my first teacher. And it's been a great experience. Pablo taught us a lot and gave us some advices to how to learn English.
Before your engagement into the program, it was the first time you never learned English before?
No.
Never?
No.
Okay, that's great. Quite encouraging. And Rosario, was it the same thing with you?
Yes, it was the same thing. I started with Mrs. Maggie, and my English was bad. If I couldn't say even good morning, it was difficult to me to express. I don't have fluency to speak, but I think that if the teacher told me to come here, I think that he thinks that my English is more better right now.
Definitely, you can voice out your message. People can listen and understand exactly what you're saying, and this is quite interesting. Okay, all we can say is we're going to keep on saying that throughout the program is encouraging you to keep on doing that, because definitely it would help you. So, Gabrielle,
yes,
tell us a bit about your friends in school. Where do you normally go to school? Maria Cano or Spanish school?
None of them.
None of them. Okay, go ahead. Tell us.
I'm going to Maria Auxiliadora aside of a Spanish college. I started learning English in school at 5th grade of primary. Then I started growing up my English and combining it with the ECC classes.
So now we're going to talk a bit about the impact of this maybe my words are so powerful, but I'll try to find words that you can easily cope with. Okay, in school, okay,
Yes.
all in Spanish, okay, but when it comes to the English language, it looks like you're the top, you're number one. Your friends, your mates comes to you in order to receive maybe help. Does it happen?
Yes, it really happens. When I started at 2021, everyone thought I would be down, but I proved every hater wrong, and I be-
Great. Yes. Yeah. That's great.
and I proved like I could learn every language at the same time.
Yeah.
In school, I learn French too.
Yeah.
And I use the app Duolingo for learning German.
Yeah. Germany. So.
Yes.
So you're doing well, and your friends are so happy when they come to you. Okay, please help us.
Yes, they are really happy, and I'm so confident when I help them.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences. You're above what exactly we expected. That's great. You're moving or you're doing well. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Rosario.
Yes.
Tell us about the impact of the English language since you started with your friends, with your family, or with your neighborhoods.
Okay, speaking English for me is like a goal that I have since I was young, no?
Yeah.
Then I decided to learn English because I want to be more best in my life.
Yeah.
Then I have some friends that they are in the USA, maybe in England. So sometimes when they write to me and I answer them in English, so they say, "Wow, how can you write in English?" The last week we spoke in Spanish. Now you are trying to talk with me.
Yeah.
Then even in school, if we have some person that is not from the Equatorial Guinea and speak in English,
Yeah.
I try to help her
That's
to
great.
to know something,
Mhm.
to, as you know,
Yeah.
yes.
As to
So-
translate, as to
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
I'm trying to practice every opportunity I have.
This is the impact of this in school. That's quite good. What about you, Gonzalez?
Okay, the major impact was in my career because last year I had an internship in Chevron. English was required.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
Good job.
Yes. And yesterday I had another job interview and it was in English. So I'm very grateful.
I'm so happy, Gonzalez, for the opportunities that the English language is offering. Okay, so when I'm going to talk widely about what happened yesterday. It looks like yesterday and today you have to deal with this in the English language, because yesterday was an interview, today is a talk show, and Adela, what's wrong?
I'm so happy.
Yes, definitely. We have to be. And you're right, because when we see how the English language is impacting their life and, of course, improving, because now we're talking about the job sector. And this is quite important. Yesterday, or for many people, this, as HERMILA said, many people are struggling with the English language in order to find job opportunities. And when Gonzalez mentioned the fact that, okay, one of the main requirements you had, it was the English language.
Yes.
And how did you overcome the situation?
Well, the interview started in Spanish.
Uh-huh.
And then they saw my CV
Yeah.
that I speak English, and they switched to English. I was comfortable,
Yeah.
and I think it went well.
Yeah. No, in this particular case, you're right, because I went through that as well. Sometimes after going through your CV, they used to think, okay, English, French, Spanish, okay, let's try it out. And they just shift into the languages in order to evaluate, in order to see how confident you are with the language. And this is quite interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Gonzalez. So Adela, or let's say HERMILA, nowadays the unlocking opportunities has become something that many people are gaining. are fighting or are struggling to be there. Can you mention some of the requirements in order to be part of that? Adela, you can get. Are there some requirements in order to be part of in order to gain these opportunities?
Yes, there are requirements because, like some people can afford to pay English classes. Because they can afford it. So we don't look out for those people because we think those people have enough opportunities out there already. This is for people that really need the opportunity. So that's a requirement, and we have our way of checking that, And then we also, for the kids, we have the age gap. I think it's from 5 or 6 or so.
Yeah.
So there are so many other requirements. Then I also want to mention that these classes are also meant for people who work in government also can benefit, especially the ones at the lower levels.
Yeah.
Yes, it's also meant for you because that was the idea. Because it's good for them to expand their knowledge because English is a working language. So
this is quite important. And HERMILA, we're talking about the government. There are some people who hardly care about, okay, I need to broaden my knowledge regarding the languages. What would be your advice to those people in order to gain or in order to be part or seize these opportunities? Your advice?
My advice, the younger you start, the better.
Yeah.
So there's been many scientific papers that have proven the benefits and the positive impacts in starting to learn different languages at a younger age. It completely reshapes how your brain neurons are connected. It makes you more of a critical thinker. You become better in science and mathematics. You become better at even reading and literature analysis. So the language is the way that the world is connected. And English is one of those main global languages in which not only people in government need to have, but it's something that if you're working in the tourism industry, it's something if you're a journalist. If you're a journalist here in the country, most papers now are written in English or in French, and so especially if you're on the continent in Africa. And so it just shows that this is the best way for you to not be contained in one geographic region, but be able to expand your talents and your skills on a global level.
Yes, so talking about our country, because Mila, you might notice that the country is so close, the unique Spanish-speaking country, and we're surrounded with other languages such as French and such as English, and we have to seize this opportunity as a key in order to learn more or to be interested in learning more.
I definitely think that it's one, I want to start off by saying I think it's very beautiful, right? The heritage that Equatorial Guinea has, whether it's with the Spanish language and many of the local indigenous languages like Fang, Bubi, and whatsoever. I think languages should be conserved. And it's not choosing English over any other language, but it's just showcasing that at least having English in your portfolio and your knowledge base will help you be able to teach others about your own culture, your benefits, like what can Equatorial Guinea offer the world. There's plenty of things it can offer, but you need to have those language abilities to be able to brand, showcase your nation, right? It's also a way to bring opportunities into the country. It's also not only on a major scale, but even on an individual scale, right? We had one of our students here, Jose Maria, who just talked about how he was able to have an opportunity interviewed by a global multinational company, right? And that opportunity was granted, or he becomes even more qualified or competitive candidate because he knows English. And it's being able to provide that opportunity to individuals. And it's to go back on what Adela was saying too, is for ECC in this program is not the only way that you can learn English. There's plenty of other ways. If there's other ways that are more beneficial, seize those opportunities. What ECC and what we've done with this grant since 2021 is to try to open these opportunities to people who have lower salaries, are from lower socioeconomic statuses that can't pay monthly fees. These are individuals who don't know where to start, and through an application process that ECC has written out, it's a way to evaluate these individuals to make sure that people with less opportunities are able to have this chance now, that other people who are more privileged get on a daily basis, right? And it is our most popular program. Our Instagram is full of questions every day. When is the English language application going to start? And so that is the biggest question we always get. So I think people here understand the value and they are very interested. What I will say is that language acquisition or learning languages, and you can say this too, right, Gabriel?
Yes.
It takes discipline. It takes time. It takes bravery because you are failing every day, you know. But it takes a lot of effort. So what we see is people are interested, but they don't want to put in that commitment, or maybe they're afraid of failure because you're not going to be good at it immediately. And I know because I'm learning languages too. Like, you know, and so
I'm so happy for you.
Yes.
I'm so happy listening to what you're saying. People unfortunately wants to get it at once. They start and they want to get it, but they forget that sometimes you have to fail, raise again, you fail, you raise again until you get it. And those words are so encouraging in order for people, in order to help people understanding that, okay, whatever you're trying, whatever you're about to do, and now we're talking about English language, we're talking about languages. So whatever you intend to do, you have to bear in mind that, okay, I'm starting now, but maybe the results won't come maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. It takes time. And this is quite interesting. I'm so excited listening to this word, because those who are listening to the program now, some are taking note and some are listening, and unfortunately the line is down and we cannot receive some calls.